Hi, welcome back to a brand new video of the Targeted Individual Program, Targeted Experience. Doing this video, I've been using the helicopters a lot. As I was about to do this, helicopter flew past my head, the New York, past over my head, I should say. The New York Police Department constantly using their sirens. If you guys hear them, you'll understand why it is that they have been using the sirens and particularly the helicopters because they know that I'm about to do a video, get exposed in what it is that they've been doing. And again, because they're engaging in psychological operations, psychological warfare, manipulating people using what is called cognitive warfare and neurocognitive warfare, which I'm going to talk about. And I'm going to show you a video, not a video that I did, but a video from a YouTuber that is going to show you exactly what I'm reading here. I hear the sirens. Right? That you see, when I can show you these things, when I say I know I understand, I can show it to you, they'll constantly use their sirens and so forth and so forth, right? Because again, they're liars, manipulators, deceivers, and my purpose is greater than theirs. I keep saying it. They have fortunately given up whenever I said the word my purpose. I said the words my purpose. They have given up and they have, in terms of using the sirens, whenever I said my purpose, I understand or I can show you guys exactly what it is that they're doing. All right, so let's go. The dawn of future neurocognitive warfare, exploiting adversaries' cognitive, physiological, and behavioral vulnerabilities. Okay, this is from the website International Defense, Security, and Technology Incorporated. Okay, June 8, 2025, Rajesh Upal, okay, Biotech and Synthetic Biology, Global Risk and Future Threats, Strategies, Policy and Governance, Weapons and Munitions. Okay, so, introduction. In an area of relentless technological advancement, the nature of warfare is undergoing a profound transformation. The battlefield of the future is evolving beyond the physical and digital realm, encroaching into the human mind and brain. Welcome to the dawn of future neurocognitive warfare, a paradigm where adversaries seek to exploit the inner workings of the human mind to gain a significant advantage. The traditional battlefield of guns and tanks is giving way to a domain where the human mind itself becomes the primary target. This shift introduced a new dimension of conflict, neurocognitive warfare, where adversaries exploit the vulnerabilities of cognitive, emotional, and behavioral systems to gain an unparalleled strategic edge. By leveraging advancement in neuroscience, biotechnology, and data analytics, nations are shaping strategies to influence decision making, impair operational capabilities, and weaken morale, usher in, ushering in a new era of conflict. This article explores the implications, challenges, and ethical dilemmas posed by, by this emergent form of conflict. Evolution of information warfare to cognitive warfare. Historically, warfare revolves around physical clashes and tactical maneuvers. In 2021, in the 21st century warfare, the focus is on gaining information superiority in the decision space, either before or during conflicts. Military success now hinges on the ability to process incomplete and rapidly changing information. The focus has shifted towards cognitive superiority, where the effectiveness of military operations depend on decision making, strategic, and adaptability. This involves analyzing the situation, assessing friendly and enemy capabilities, and devising potential courses of action. Implementing strategy require constant reevaluation and adaptation based on incomplete information as warfare is dynamic and constantly evolving. Adversaries increasingly target the decision making process through sophisticated information warfare, highlighting the shift towards fifth generation warfare, where controlling the flow and integrity of information is paramount. To achieve success, warfare must strive to control information and process the ability to know what action to take and when to take them. If information control is lost, the decision making process is disrupted. All cognitive abilities are degraded. The ability to fight effectively and secure victory becomes severely compromised. While information warfare focuses on controlling information reaching the brain, cognitive warfare targets the brain itself. It involves enhancing the cognitive abilities of one's own forces while degrading those of adversaries. This can be achieved through the use of drugs, brain stimulation, and other techniques to optimize military personnel's performance, potentially creating super soldiers. In this context, cognitive warfare surpasses traditional information warfare by directly influencing and degrading adversaries' mental faculties while enhancing one's own cognitive capabilities. You guys see all the sirens now? They hate it when like I said, not only do I talk about this stuff, but I can show you guys that they have been engaging in this for a very long time. Okay, this is nothing new. Even though you may read about it and say that this is new, but this is nothing new. And I'm going to show you again when I talk about black people being the experimentees of government non-consensual experimentation program. They have never stopped it. They continue to advance in ways in which black people are used as subjects of these experiments for these type of warfare, for these type of capabilities that they engage in terms of human the grading of a human mind or a group of people, and the enhancement of another group of people, and uplifting their lives. Okay, this type of warfare exploit the vulnerabilities inherent in human cognition, such as biases, decision making shortcuts, and emotional triggers, which can lead to predictable errors in judgment and behavior. By leveraging this knowledge, adversaries can disrupt the decision making processes of opponents, gaining strategic advantage without physical confrontation. A foundational concept, bonded rationality, introduced by Herbert A. Simmons, emphasizes that humans have limited cognitive capacities and cannot process all available information when making decisions. This limitation, compounded by cognitive biases and mental shortcuts, makes individual prone to errors in judgment. A conceptual framework for cognitive warfare. Cognitive warfare operates on a multi-dimensional framework that seeks to exploit the human mind as both a tool and a target in modern conflict. This framework is composed of advanced technologies and methodologies designed to gather insight, interfere with adversarial cognition, and strengthen friendly forces' cognitive abilities. The first pillar, cognitive survey technologies, focus on extracting actionable intelligence from psychological indicators. Again, this is why I talk about coercive persuasion programming. All right, and the Zoom, right, the decomposition of a person's life, a person's mental state within the society that they're in. By analyzing motivation, emotions, and decision making patterns, these technologies provide a deeper understanding of both individuals and groups. This insight enables precise targeting and tailored strategies in both military and psychological operation. Again, I've been talking about this, right? How they tailored my targeting specifically to me. So, for example, in the video I uploaded earlier, when the dude gets on the bus in front of me, he comes, he's like, both cards don't work. Now, he only had one Omni card in his hand. He didn't have two cards. He has one Omni card. But yet he comes out, he says, both cards doesn't work. Why? Because they know that when I went to the bank earlier this week, I couldn't use the ATM machine because even though I was able to enter my PIN, it wouldn't give me no cash. So I had to go into the bank. And then I'm approached saying that, there's a scam going around, and so I should be receiving I should have received a text. When I did not receive a text or an email, right? I did not receive anyone, not a text or email. Okay, and I have two emails. As a matter of fact, I have three emails, right? But two of them I use. All right, my Microsoft account and my Google account. Okay, so I did not receive any text from them at all, or any email from them at all, and so I had to go to the window and speak to one of the workers, the bank workers behind the counter, and as I put my card in, she asked me for my card. She takes it, she wipes it with some tissue, and then I put my card in, card working fine. I said to her, "Well," then she said something about, she's like, "Well, it wasn't reading your card properly." I said, "Yes, it was, because I used the ATM machine outside in the where the ATM machine areas in the bank, and as well as inside the bank, and it asked me for my PIN number, and I put in my PIN number. So it's not like it couldn't read the card. Usually, if the machine can't read your card, it will tell you to remove your card and insert it again. Okay, but again, I want you to understand that this was pre-planned, because prior going into the bank, in that very same video, you'll see the New York Predator Department vehicle approaching. Okay, so when I talk about the tailoring of targeting someone or a group of people, see, Negropeans think that they're not being targeted themselves either, right? No matter how many times I keep showing them, keep proving to them that they too are being targeted, because it's not just for a specific group of people, but it's also for the people who they can manipulate to engage in such behaviors. Okay? I keep saying, go look at Darren Brown on YouTube. Darren Brown video is called The Show, The Game Show. Look at that video. Okay? So, the second component, cognitive interference technology, is designed to disrupt and degrade an adversary's cognitive abilities. Tools such as electromagnetic waves, microwaves, and psychological operations are employed to create confusion, manipulate perception, and induce behavioral changes. These techniques are subtle yet impactful, undermining the adversary's operational efficiency without direct confrontations. The third aspect, cognitive strengthening technologies, aim to enhance cognitive performance within friendly forces, neural stimulation, and advanced training methods are employed to improve focus, decision making, and resilience. These enhancements prepare the individual for the cognitive demand of modern warfare, equipping them to outperform adversaries. Now, when you look today, particularly in black communities, particularly in Hispanic communities, where you'll find more young people who are not able to focus, and particularly the pandemic, which is all part of the cognitive and neurocognitive warfare plan, right? In which people today, and this was against the civilian population, but it was specifically against black people, Hispanic people. When you look at the people who die the most of the pandemic virus, I would say, those people tend to be black people, African American, particularly here in America. Why? Because they're the most obese and overweight. They have the most health issues, health complications because of health issues. So that is why. Okay? I said you got to think on a deeper level of these things. You got to be able to, but you got to be conscious. And as long as you're a believer, you will never be conscious, and they will continue to destroy you, your children, your family, your community, and your people. Okay? At a technical level, these technologies can be deployed covertly in urban landscape. Listen closely now. At a tactical level, these technologies can be deployed covertly in urban landscapes or virtual environments to influence and disrupt adversarial operations. By targeting decision-making processes and operational capabilities, cognitive warfare reshapes the battlefield into a domain where the mind is the most critical asset and vulnerability. Neurocognitive warfare in new dimension. We talk about, again, neurocognitive warfare. We talk about as TIs how we're microchipped, right? And how silent sound, radio wave, microwave frequency is used to control and manipulate the people around us. Okay? Neurocognitive warfare takes cognitive warfare to a new level by integrating cutting edge neuroscience, psychology, artificial intelligence, and behavioral science to manipulate an adversary's cognitive functions. Now, y'all not listening now. I want you guys to listen to this. Okay, researchers like Amos Tversky and Daniel Kahneman have shown that humans often rely on heuristics, or heuristics, whatever, I can't pronounce it right, but anyhow, mental shortcuts derived from past experiences to navigate complex decisions. Neurocognitive warfare exploit these inherent cognitive flaws, potentially influencing, not potentially, they do influence decision making and behavior at both individual and collective levels by disrupting the observe, orient, decide, act, the OODA cycle, as developed by military strategist John Boyd. An adversary can disrupt an enemy's orientation and decision making, rendering them vulnerable to manipulation, even if their observation or actions are faster. The cognitive domain forms the cornerstone of neurocognitive warfare. Understanding how individuals process information, make decisions, and form beliefs allow adversaries to design precise intervention. Now, I talk about how at one point when I was playing Fortnite, when they had me on the remote no monitoring, and they were specifically doing things to see how I strategize certain things, right? So when I talk about cognitive warfare in online video games, to be able to recognize these things as it was happening, to see what it is that they were doing. Now let's talk about the whole Fortnite thing. Is that because when I used to stay over here, right? They used to send me this subliminal message that I could only stay here for 4 nights, right? Fortnight. After the fortnight, I gotta go home, right? Because after the fortnight, then they will engage in more of a threatening type of targeting, threat on my life, right? And so the whole Fortnite thing, it was just kind of weird to me. But when I started to figure out what it is that they were doing, right? Because at first, without even thinking about it, I would react. So if I would be here for like 2 days, 3 days, I would leave. Right, come back the next day, be here for another 2, 3 days, I would leave. So I would never stay here a fortnight until I realized what it is that they were doing. Right, and again, what they do is that they attack you unconsciously, subconsciously, so you don't know what you do. You're just going off of the emotions, off of the fear, but it's not a rationalized fear, right? At least it's not a fear in your mind that you can rationalize. It's until you begin to understand the process, the tactics, the techniques, and what it is that they're doing, you begin to now become more aware and fight back, and even test out your hypotheses. So there are time I might be here for like 5 days because I wanted to see if they were going to do right. And again, they would send me the threat of assassination, and I would leave. I had stayed here up until like 1 o'clock one night to go home because I said I want to see if they were going to assassinate me, if they were going to do what they said they're going to do. Because at times, when I'm thinking about certain things in my mind, and they have me on the remote no monitoring, when I go outside, they will have these Negropeans walk past me with the Nike T-shirt that says "Just Do It." You know what I'm saying? So whenever I'm thinking something, whenever I'm angry, I'm thinking something that's negative. Like I want to shoot these motherfuckers. If I ever had to have a weapon, you know what I'm saying? And again, that's part of the intrusive thought because of what it is that they're doing. So you become angry. You become like not to say that you're going to do it, but this is what you will say in your mind, right? And if I would say something like that, then I'll go outside and they'll have somebody there. And I want you to understand the real world targeting and the real world response, right? It's almost instantaneously. So they'll have a person comes by, walking by me and have a Nike shirt that says "Just Do It." And it wouldn't be just one guy. It would be a whole, on my way home, it would be a few people wearing the Nike T-shirt saying "Just Do It," right? So yeah. So anyhow, Techniques such as cognitive overload, misinformation campaign, and neural stimulation are already being explored. Similarly, psychological operation could exploit cognitive biases, presenting tailored narrative to manipulate perception and sow distrust amongst allies. Now, I'm not going to go read the rest of this. You guys can go read this. I always say I'll try to include in the link, but I never do. You know what I'm saying? I did description, but I never do. So I would say hopefully I will remember to include this in the description. Okay, but I will share this on my Facebook page, and so you guys can go there and look at it. Okay. Now the reason why I'm reading this also again, I'm gonna show you guys how there is a YouTuber, right? It's a female, who recognize the manipulation, but don't understand the in detail tactics and methods that they're using. Okay, so just bear with me, and I'm gonna show you guys something.
Black women have surpassed every other group in this country based upon race and gender.
I am so tired. You know what? There was an article that just came out that said
Black women are the dumbest group in America.
Saying Black women are the most educated group in America.
All right, so I had to pause this because she was like, not her, but in the other video, I'm gonna start from the beginning. But I want you to understand how they will use data, right? When in the article it talks about the manipulation of data, analytical data, right? They will create data based on their own narrative that are false, that are lies. Okay, while at the same time, an article will give you the link to the true statistics, but you're not going to go look at that, particularly if you are a Black woman, right? Because they have conditioned you into wanting to feel good. So when you're reading these articles that talk about how you're the most educated, you feel good. You got your degree, you feel good. But here's the truth, and this video is going to break it down in a very precise way. The fact is, actually, I'm not even going to say it. I'm going to let that speak for itself. But I want you to, again, understand what it is that they're doing, okay? Particularly in the Black community, particularly to Black men and Black women. And we have yet to understand. So when I talk about these things, I will be attacked because they will create in whatever narrative they want to create or whatever they want to engage in. Okay, and the nigger are the sheeps. They're the dumbasses, who will go along, not understanding that they're destroying not only the lives of the people who they attack, but their own lives as well, their own psychological state. Okay, so we got a bunch of Black people are just, vast majority are literally out of their damn mind, as Dr. Amos Wilson says. We have to be out of our mind. They have to make us insane. They have to drive us out of our minds. Because if were in our right minds, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing. We wouldn't be participating in what I show every single day of being attacked. And then the white racists on the police force, they'll show themselves once in a while. Like they did yesterday. I was on the bus home, and you had those 3 white racist NY Predator Department officers going back to their vehicle as the bus was approaching. Because that's why do I know this? Because that's what they have done this to me for over 2 decades. So I know.
Black women have surpassed every other group in this country based upon race and gender.
I am so tired. You know what? There was an article that just came out that said
Black women are the dumbest group in America.
Saying Black women are the most educated group in America is like saying Lizzo is the face of health. It is a lie wrapped in praise to distract from the actual damage. For over a decade, this narrative have been thrown around like it's some type of badge of honor. You've seen it in articles, you've heard it from politicians, and you've watched it go viral every election season. But here's the truth. It is not a real stat. It is a feel-good slogan based on selective data twisted into a cultural delusion. And today, we're pulling the mask off. Because if Black women are truly the most educated group in this country, then why can't their children read? Why do we have some of the lowest literacy rates in our communities while the so-called most educated group keep racking up degrees, debt, and delusion? Please make it make sense. This episode is going to do 4 things. 1, expose where this lie actually came from. 2, break down the real numbers, not the cherry-picked ones. 3, show how this lie was weaponized for political and emotional manipulation. And 4, most importantly, call out the consequences of buying into it. Because if these degrees haven't fixed the culture, the families, or the finances, then what exactly are we celebrating? I am Carmen JC, and I am here to open your eyes. Let's get into it. Much like myself, most
Okay. So yeah, just gonna pause it here. Don't want to just keep playing the entire video for copyright purposes. But again, she's absolutely right. This is why black women have been conditioned not to like statistics. So whenever you bring up statistics in the conversation, they'll straight out tell you, "Oh, there you go again with statistics," right? They don't even understand why they're saying this. These are women who claim to have college degree, right? Which, when you go to college, you go to school, you know, when you got to do a report or you got to do a survey, what have you, depending on what courses you're taking, statistics are important, right? How do they know and can say that black women are the most educated? They have to look at the statistics, right? But no, they don't. What they're doing is that they're coming up with this lie, being that black women are the most enrolled. Okay, that's what, they're the most enrolled. But they're not the most who have degrees, right? They're not. So instead of saying black women are the most enrolled in colleges, what they've done, again, this is the experimentation done on black women. And I've been saying this. We have always been experimented on in every single way. What they've done is that they've created a mindset within us now to where we think it's okay and we'll actually participate in the experiment against each other. Understand what I'm saying?
you're probably tired of being gaslit into believing black women are the most educated group in America, when in reality, the title was never earned, it was engineered. It's the line we've heard 1,000 times from media pundits, social media influencers, and politicians, and more importantly, from black women themselves. But where did they actually get this from? The earliest version of this claim I can trace back was from a 2014 blog post on Shine for Harriet, a platform created to center and uplift black women. That's where Jenks Morton first explained why he believes black women are the most educated, but instead of breaking it down with clarity and context, he took one stat and he ran with it.
No. And this is the part that, when I talk about some of us who, even though we are a bit more conscious than others, but we still have a long way to go, right? Whenever you see things like this, particularly when you see Negropean males and females start these talking points, understand that there's money behind them. Understand that they're being paid, right? This is all part of the cognitive warfare, where you will use people within that population. You will pay them, give them money, give them, maybe a job and promote them and so forth, right? And as you're doing that, which is what is called operant conditioning, reward and punishment, right? B.F. Skinner, for those of you who don't know, is you reward them and, for continue to spread their lies, right? To continue to spread the propaganda, right? And every time they come up with new slogans, new talking points, new trends that are based on lies that will negatively impact us as black people, black men and black women, and our children and our communities, they get rewarded. This is why I talk about how money plays an important part, and particularly status, and particularly when it comes to black women, and how they use black women and play them like a fiddle to the T. Not only that, but by promoting them, and then by placing them in positions, in jobs where they are probably the only black person there, working alongside white men and white women. And these white men and white women will tell them a lot of things, right, to destroy their community, their children, their husbands, their men, right? While those very same women and men, they go home to their husbands, they go home to their wives. Some of them will even manipulate these women into sleeping with them, into engaging in other type of sexual activities, right? Because they understand that black women, when it comes to religion and Jesus and the picture, the image of Jesus in their mind, that they, Jesus is their Lord and Savior, and they love Jesus more than anything else, more than themselves, more than their children, is that subconsciously is a white man. So they understand this, they know this, and they use it to their advantage. They use it to their advantage. There was a black woman who wrote an article, and she said that most black women in the corporate media space, or even in just like mixed communities, the majority of them are sleeping with white men, but you don't know it because they do what is called covert bedroom action. Everything is hush hush, right? And so, I'm bringing this up just to show you that how easy, just to say how easy it is for these people who understand the mindset, particularly of our women, to manipulate them. And they will use black men to push lies. Why? Because of money also. All right? And then again, you look at who are raising these men, okay? These men and these women will throw away their integrity because they have not been taught integrity. They'll throw away their morality because the morality that they get is from religion. They already taught them true morality. They will throw away their dignity, right? For money, for a bag.
Go ahead and take a listen to Jinx Morton gaslighting us into believing that because black women are the most enrolled, they're the most educated. Let's take a listen.
For the first time, over 50% of young black women, 18 to 24, are enrolled in college. Half.
Enrolled, they're the most educated. Let's take a listen.
For the first time, over 50% of young black women, 18 to 24, are enrolled in college. Half. Overall, this is from age 15 to forever. For the first time in the history of data collection by the National Center for Education Statistics.
Now listen to what he says. For the first time in the history of data collection, okay?
As reported by the U.S. Census Bureau, black women have surpassed every other group in this country based upon race and gender. What does that mean? For the first time in our history, African American women have surpassed all groups in college entrance based upon race and gender. That's right. African American women enroll in college more than Asian men.
Now again, look how many times he repeat the words African American women. I talk about conditioning, and one thing when it comes to conditioning, right, is the repetition of things. Okay, that's the one thing you should start to notice. So when you start to see them say, when you start to see these people who get on social media, gets on the news, they keep repeating the exact same thing over and over and over, right? You have to say to yourself, okay, this might be a form of conditioning. So I have to now, be able to listen to what he say. Go look at the statistics. Don't take his word for it, because they will likely, they expect you to take the word of the person who is saying these things as being the truth, right? So you got to be diligent and go and look at the statistics. Go do your research.
White women. You name the group, either race or gender, African American women are number one.
Number one.
9.7%. Historic and monumental. A number that I believe every mainstream media, if not mainstream, every black media outlet should be reporting. This is Black History Today. It's being made.
Now listen, look what he does, right? So he has in their source the U.S. Census Bureau current population survey. Okay. What does it say? It says population survey, right? On top here, it says college enrollment by race and gender, black women. Number one. You would never find on the any government statistic site that will have white woman number one, white men number one, black men number one, black woman number one, Asian men number one. They would never do that. But I want you to understand how they will take and to try to make it seem legitimate by saying source and U.S. Census Bureau current population survey. Now it says population survey. It didn't say education survey, right? It did not say education survey. So where is he pulling these numbers from? You'll see.
Where is the press release? Where is the news out? Where is the media outlet that would give us just one slight tip of the hat that black women have set history, that black history is being made right now?
So let's unpack what you just heard. That entire narrative is built on a 2011 report by the National Center for Education Statistics, which showed that black women had the highest college enrollment rate.
And again, the National Censor. But you see what he had there? He had the U.S. Censor Department, right? Not the National Censor.
Relative to their population size. Let me say that again. Enrollment, not graduation, not degree completion, not job placement, not long-term success. Enrollment means that you signed up for class but not necessarily finished it. But people took that technical measurement and turned it into a tagline. No one asked what type of degrees were being earned. No one looked at the debt that came from them. No one questioned whether these degrees actually led to economic...
All right, let me pause it there and let's go on to the actual statistics so that you guys can see.
Get into it. Let's look past the headlines and into the data. If black women are supposedly the most educated, then let's actually break down what that means in degrees, in debt, in outcome. Yes, there are a lot of black women enrolled in college, but don't confuse signing up with actually dominating. Let's look at the actual degrees being handed out. White women earned about 57.3% of bachelor's degrees. Hispanic women earned about 17%.
And I want to pause it here because I want you guys to see this. All right? I want you to see this. Percentage distribution of degrees confer to U.S. citizens and permanent residents. Okay.
8.9%, and Asians, they earned about 8.3% of the bachelor degrees, and black women earned about 11.5%. Now, at the doctorate level, white women earned about 61.6%, Asian earned about 12.6%, and black women earned about 11.9%. I'm going to let the TikToker guru explain this better so you guys can understand. Let's go ahead and take a look at the clip.
Black women are the most educated group in the U.S., according to the National Center for Education Statistics. Well, Guru, it must be true because according to Essence Magazine, they tell us that black women account for 68% of associate degrees, 66% of bachelor's, and 71% of master's. So I actually clicked on the link that Essence provided in their article that took me to the percentage distribution of degrees conferred to U.S. citizens.
All right, now listen. So they included the link, knowing that what they were saying was a lie. Right? Understand that. They lied, but they included the link. Why? Because they know that you are not going to click on that link. They know that you don't think, that you only believe. So if you would think, then you would click on that link. You will see that black women are not the most educated, do not have the most degrees or graduate with the most degrees, right? And then that would change their narrative. They will now have to say, well, you know what? Black women are now thinking, they're not believing what it is that we say. But what happened? Because again, they understand the mindset of women, and particularly our women, black women, and how they are being conditioned. That's why they can do what they do.
And permanent residents. Black are right here, and the females say 13.6, and the females for bachelors say 11.5, and the females for masters say 14.0. Well, let's compare that to other female groups. Caucasian females, 13.6 to 47.8. That doesn't look like the most. Bachelors, 11.5 for black compared to 57.3 for Caucasian. That doesn't look like the most. Masters, 14 compared to 60.9. That doesn't look like the most either. Well, what about most enrolled, Guru? BWs are significantly less than Caucasian women to enroll in 4-year colleges and graduate within 6 years and go on to earn advanced degrees. Looks like Essence Magazine and all the women repeating it on social media got it wrong after all.
As he said, that...
Listen, they did not get it. They did not. I mean, they got that wrong, but they got it right. And that's the cognitive warfare. That is the experiment on black women in to see if they're going to believe something because it makes them feel good, as opposed to them going and look at the data to look and see the truth. Right? This is why you hear black men say that, we can't tell our women the truth because they don't like the truth. Right? Y'all don't like the truth. Y'all will claim that black women talking to y'all will claim that Jesus came and he was the truth and he was the light, but yet y'all hate the truth. And this is why they're able to manipulate us and to manipulate you guys, because again, they understand your mindset. They are using cognitive warfare and neurocognitive warfare. They're using neurocognitive warfare on your children, particularly your boys. Right? When your son have behavioral issues, it isn't because something is wrong in his mind. It is because you are not teaching him any discipline or giving him any structure. That is why the fathers are there for. They have got you believing that men are non-essential. As long as you got money, as long as you got your job, you got your house, you got your car. You know what I'm saying? You get your child support. Because that's all you focus on, that's all you think about, that's all you see. But a man brings more than just money. And this is where y'all get it wrong. And this is why y'all are signing up by the friggin' millions to put your children on these pharmaceutical drugs, without understanding that when you put your children on these drugs at a young age, you are destroying not only their mind, but their bodies. These drugs destroy human beings' central nervous system. Go and research this shit. Go look it up. Look the damn thing up. Okay? All right, let me just, I'm not even going to go through all of this. You guys can go look at this video. But I want to play this part here where you have other black women who
Hello, my name is Adam Ferrari, the Chief Executive Officer of Phoenix Energy. I look forward to you.
Right? I make videos like this one, the one where I say black women are the dumbest group in America. Take a listen to yours truly. Take a listen.
Black women are the dumbest group in America. They're literally train crash outs. All of their ideology is backwards, and everything that they believe in is dysfunctional. These are the defenders of the dysfunction and the chaos. They encourage it. And you know that because look at Sexy Red. They allow her to sell booty hole brown and gonorrhea lip glosses. Disgusting. And then they get all these degrees to still come out broke, alone, and in debt. Not to mention they let the government convince them to destroy their children and to go against the very men that are put here to protect them. And this is why they fall for every scam that the government push. Feminism, abortion, birth control. They even fail for the scam that they're the smartest group in America. You are
not only that too, but they fall for the financial scam by J.P. Morgan's and other financial companies about, put aside $5 billion for black women entrepreneurs. Right? And from they implemented that program, less than 0.0001% of black women got funding from that program. And the most that they ever got was around $20,000. Okay? And then, again, like I said, they know exactly what they do because they know that they already have the people on the right who's going to come out and sue them and to say, well, you can't decide that you're going to put this money aside for black women entrepreneurs, and there's always the white men now, right? The white men are always on the men that they love to run to, talk about white men treat them better. Remember, this always the white men who are doing these things to take it away from them. So the one group of white men say, okay, we're going to do this, even though we're not really going to do it, right? And then you get the other group of white men to say, you know what, we're not going to sue, so we're going to stop them. So that way, the liberals, the so-called liberal elites, the liberal financial elites can say, well, it isn't our fault, right? It is those white conservative, right? But then when you look at how much money J.P. Morgan and these financial companies give to both political parties, you'll see it's in the tens of millions of dollars. Okay? So, but the black women keep falling for this shit. So now that this white man came and he sued, and now it's like, well, this program is unconstitutional, then they can say, well, there's nothing we can do about it, right? Instead of when they implemented the program, instead of doing what it was supposed to do, right? They knew what it is that it was going to happen because they are part of it. They plan these things to manipulate you, black women. You need to understand that.
The most educated, you are the most indoctrinated. Congratulations. And you talk so much about your degrees, and black men still make more money than you and raise better children than you. Amazing. And you know what? The solution is just very simple. Bow out and let black men lead.
A
three-part Providence Falls special event.
DM O'Connor,
We're offering you a chance for redemption.
bow out and let black men lead. Simple.
So I'm not making videos to belittle anyone. It's not to be cruel. It's because somebody has to say it. Because clearly the degrees are not waking you up. So maybe the truth will. Maybe the truth will get you guys to see that this is all not okay. Because if no one calls it out, we just keep repeating the cycle, celebrating dysfunction, defending poor decisions, and calling it progress. This is not the way to go. I truly feel that women are going to college and coming out stupid. They're coming out dumber than when they went in, especially black women. I don't know what they're teaching you guys in these institutions, but you guys have been indoctrinated. I need you to know this. And this.
Well, they don't even understand what the word indoctrination is. Indoctrinated is. They don't. Because they go to church, they're the most believers, and we know that religion is a form of indoctrination. It's a form of brainwashing and mind control. Okay, same thing with education. How many times in the news cycle within the past few years we've seen where you see a black woman senator, a state senator from Connecticut, twerking on her head, right? There is no class. There is no, like you will never see, a billionaire's wife twerking on her head. You know what I'm saying? Particularly when, it's fine if you want to do that. If you're not in a career that you need to have some form of self-respect, some form of decorum, some form of accountability, to where where your behavior out in public will dictate how people view you and whether or not they're going to put you back into those office again. In the minds of black women, it doesn't matter, right? It does not matter. So you have teachers wearing scandalous outfit, I should say scandalous, but wearing tight outfits, while teaching middle school and high school. Not thinking about the psychology of young boys, right? Not thinking about the years that young boys go through puberty, what it does to their minds, what it does to their emotions, what it does to their sexual, when they're coming into their sexuality, into their sexual function, meaning that they can produce sperm to impregnate. We have wet dreams and all this stuff, right? To have teachers dress in going into a classroom wearing tight skirts, and particularly if you're curvaceous. And then and the shit that they'll say is that, that's just what my body is and whatever. You could wear bigger clothes. You could wear bigger clothes. If you got a big booty, wear dresses that are flared out, that are, not clingy. Because you got to understand, you're in front of a class teaching and there are boys there. There are girls there too, but the girls are not going to be distracted as much as the boys. So the fact that they're only thinking about themselves, their feelings, how they look good, and then will take videos and post it on social media, right? The selfishness, the self-centeredness, right? Not thinking about the boys that are coming into that classroom, right? Who are going to be so distracted that they can't even concentrate and focus on the lesson that's being taught. And on top of that, they talk about, black boys can't sit still. They can't, that's even more of a distraction. But these women don't seem to understand that. So while I say women should be able to wear whatever they want to wear, I have no problem with that. But if you are in a certain profession, there need to be a level of decorum, a level of respectability, a level of respectability for the people who put you there, for the company that you're working for the school and the district and the students that you are teaching. Okay? So, again, when I say this, I'm not saying this, because you got the Negropean women out there who be like, look at the video and be like, or he hating, or the white supremacists who be out there like, look, he hate black women, this and that. No, I'm letting a black woman say this. Even though I say it and I'm being, they'll attack me for saying, but I'm letting a black woman say this. Because, again, black women were once the pillar of wisdom, of beauty, of intelligence, of warriors, right? So they were highly venerated for their strategies. This is why in our culture, our ancient cultures, and even today, you still see today, where women have always been the counterpart, where black women has always been the counterpart to their men. In countries of the West, white men are the counterpart of black women. Understand what I'm saying? Black men are not the counterpart of black women when it comes to certain things. You go look at the statistics on earnings, they will always say that black women counterparts are white men. Why is that? I understand what's going on. So let me just finish up the video here.
This is not me trying to be judgmental or hate or anything like that. I am trying to tell you the truth because you guys can provide something beneficial to society, but as long as you're believing a lie, you will not be beneficial. I am sorry. Let's end this with what this episode was really about. This wasn't just about degrees. It wasn't about student loan debt. It was about the lie of education and what education really is. Because true education isn't about how many classes you sat through or how many letters come after your name. It is about your ability to critically question everything and not let society, the media, or politicians tell you who you are. The real flex is not a diploma. It is discernment. It's not enrollment, it's awareness. It's not chasing validation, it's knowing your value without being programmed. Black women have been sold a dream that sounds like power, but lead to dependency, delusion, and dysfunction. And the craziest part, you're still out here with more access to information than any generation before, yet proudly repeating a headline from over a decade ago. This episode isn't made to mock black women. It is made to wake people up. Because if your education didn't teach you how to think, it was never an education, it was an indoctrination. I appreciate everybody for joining me today. Make sure you hit the like, share, and help.
That's right. She said it. I ain't say it. She said it, even though I said it in the past. Right? But we have to become more aware, more awakened. We have to think broader, deeply. And we have to understand how we are emotionally being programmed. Right? This is why when I did this video in the beginning, I read the article on cognitive and neurocognitive warfare. Because it's important. It's important that we understand what's going on. The war that's being waged on us. All right? So, I'll continue to be attacked. But I'm going to continue to speak the truth. All right? I'll continue to be out there doing my videos. All right? No matter the threats. Because like I said, my purpose is greater than theirs. They're liars, manipulators, deceivers. And I'm about speaking the truth and exposing their lies. Talk to you guys in the next video.